Howdy folks, Timber Drifter here. So I'm way up above the tree line in my fire tower on the first day of fire season. Now what you're seeing there, I don't know what kind of tower that is, but back there is a lake. And a whole lot of trees. Some other lakes back that direction. Those are lakes. That is a parking lot. Now this fire tower sits up on top of a tallest hill in the landscape here. It used to be a ski hill, and that was the parking lot for it, way back when, many years ago. I think this tower was built in the 40s, and it's made out of all galvanized steel, bolted together. And boy, when the wind gets going, this thing moves around a bit. The box is it's just short of 7 foot square. There's another lake over there. It's just big enough to keep me from going nuts pacing around up here. And it's been a slow day. I haven't seen a single smoke. A couple of the other towers have called things in, but I didn't see the smoke. It's just too hazy on the horizon for me to see stuff really far away. Today I have about 14 miles of visibility. And so far what I have seen today, no smokes, but I have seen some wildlife today. Down there, that's kind of a little valley between ridges, I saw 3 coyotes at about 11 o'clock running around. And I have seen a couple of broadwing hawks circling. Haven't seen any eagles yet. Saw some turkey vultures. Were sitting on the tower when I got here this morning, but they left when I started climbing. This thing here is a cell tower, and last year there were a couple of ospreys that had a nest right there. That's about 20 yards away from me. So for a couple of weeks I got a real close look at osprey. And from what I've read in the books, they mostly eat fish. And that's what I saw. The male bringing the female on the nest were a few tiny fish, but I also saw him bring some rodents and a squirrel once. So that's kind of neat. Sometimes when you actually observe something closely for a while, you'll find that it does different things than what the books say that it does. That's a pretty tall cell tower, much taller than my fire tower. See if I can keep that in frame. See, it goes way up there. Anyway, I enjoy this job. I get paid to look out the window. And if I do see something, and I better keep an eye out while I'm making this video, because sure enough, that's when something will pop up and one of the other towers will call it right in and it'll be in my backyard and I won't have seen it because I'm talking. So we can just do a sweep here. And the way I do this is about every 5 minutes or so, I carefully look around the whole landscape with just my eyes. And then about every half hour, I glass the whole thing with binoculars. Like I said, I haven't seen squat today. Not even any dust on the roads. So, but if I do see something, how it works is there's this table here right in the center of the fire tower, and you can see that there's a circle, and on the circle there are degrees, and these lines here that you see, those are all things that are at a known distance, like water towers and hills and cell towers and a dump and a lumber mill that sends up a lot of smoke. So when I see a smoke, I use this thing, which is called an alidade. I think there's enough light there. Yeah. So if there's a smoke, I line this up with the smoke, and I line the center wire that's on there up with the smoke, and then I look through this piece here. This might be too dark, I'm not sure. I'll hold it up. I look through that piece there and line it up on the smoke while it's held down here on this board. There's a little pin right in the center with a notch in the alidade that lines up with the pin. So I line those two things up with the smoke, and then I get the reading and I write down the degrees and what type of smoke it is, whether it's, you know, black or white, and how big it is, and whether it's rising or staying at the treetops. And then I judge the distance by the known distances of these other things, and I kind of guesstimate what the distance will be, and I'm usually pretty accurate. And then I call that in. And so an example of that would be, I have a large white smoke at 247 degrees, estimated distance 8 miles. And then dispatch takes that information and relays it with other rangers, or they're probably listening anyway. And then I continue to report on the condition of the smoke, whether it's gone or it's growing or it's turned black and I see flames in the treetops. I haven't had that happen, but apparently it happens. And then if somebody in another tower sees that same smoke, they get a reading on it and call it in, and they can get back at dispatch. They have a huge map of the area, and they can cross my reading with that other tower's reading, and they get a pretty exact point. And then the rangers will go there and find out what's happening. And most of my smokes come from that direction. There's a town over there, several towns, three very small towns, and most of your fires are caused by people, so that's where most of the smokes that I've called in come from. That's an interesting bird sound. I'm not sure what that is.
Go ahead, we'll cover tower.
I might have a cross with
And that's radio chatter. And that was one of the towers calling in across on another tower's smoke really far away from here. I wouldn't be able to see that unless it was huge. And if I can see smoke from that far away, we have some serious problems going on. But anyway, I have a good time up here getting paid to look out the window, bird watch. And I do a little bit of reading, but I usually read about a paragraph or 2 paragraphs, and then I look around. Sometimes I listen to my hand crank radio a little bit, but what I've been looking at today is Birds of Wisconsin field guide. Sometimes I'll see a bird and I'll look at it through the binoculars and try to figure out what it is. It's kind of fun. And then also, because it's spring and I like wild edibles, I've been reviewing once again the Forager's Harvest, A Guide to Edible Wild Plants by Samuel Thayer. This is an awesome book. The upper Midwest is pretty much the region that it's for. Although a lot of these plants grow all over the place, but yeah, it's pretty much specifically for the upper Midwest for probably a good half of the plants that are in this book. So I've just been kind of refreshing my memory on what grows here and what I can eat. So anyway, that's what I'm up to today. Probably be a short fire season, so this could potentially be the only day I'll be up here. I sure hope not. I'm going to get back to work looking for smokes, and not the one right in front of my nose.